watch this video just because I'm kind of interested. I want to play more Expedition 33, but I'm just like, it might help if I get some reactions out there so that I can play it and people will actually be interested. This is Legendary Drops. Expedition 33 just shattered the narrative. I have a couple hours in Expedition 33 and I'm trying to figure out whether or not I'm going to keep playing it. So let's give this video a try.
1 million copies in 3 days. You know there is a boardroom full of executives that are sitting around scratching their head, screaming for their secretary to explain this to them in Fortnite terms.
Oh,
reverence. That was the first word that came to mind when I sat down to make this video. Expedition 33 is breathtaking. It is a game that commands respect on every single level and deserves every bit of praise that it's gotten. It is.
I wonder how much he's played, because I gave it the first 4 hours. I thought this game was crazy good. I mean, nutty. So I want to see what he has to say. Why?
The best examples of what today's developers are capable of, what games are capable of, how far they can reach, the value that they can deliver, how they can be far more than simple entertainment. But at the same time, it is incredibly frustrating because it paints a very clear contrast between it and how shallow and utterly vapid the rest of this industry has become.
Yeah, that I think he's complaining about, you know, thousands of, I mean, the same size of team that worked on Expedition 33. There's that many people on the team just monetizing Call of Duty.
Games like Expedition 33 are what we deserve, but are rarely given. And it's not for a lack of talent. We know that because these are former Ubisoft developers making a game that we would never see from Ubisoft or any major publisher for that matter. Today, I want to talk about the explosive popularity of Expedition 33, how it's already broken records, my experience playing it, and, man, you know, it really must burn to be absolutely destroyed by the very people you let go.
Ooh! Oh my God! I didn't know they let go of the people. I know that a lot of the developers came from different game studios, but I didn't know that maybe these devs are from or got fired. Oh my God.
Expedition 33 was one of my most anticipated games since its reveal. The turn-based combat looked like a true
Okay, so there are potentially spoilers for Act 1, which I've played 4 hours and I did a general skim. I didn't see anything that I haven't seen in the first 4 hours of the game. Just looking through it.
Iteration or evolution on JRPGs that we've seen over the years. The idea of using quick time events, active dodge, and pairing mechanics in combat seemed like a fresh idea. It had an all-star cast of voice actors. The premise of the game story, where a celestial paintress is painting a descending number, killing all those older than the age of 33, was genuinely different, and the art style was captivating. Actually, back at the start of last month, I had posted on Twitter saying, I don't know why, but I have an oddly good feeling about Expedition 33.
You know, and I will just say, you shouldn't watch the trailer to this game, or maybe if you want to play this game, don't watch too much. Get it now, because I think the best part of the story so far happens in the first, like, 15 minutes of the game.
My favorite games are the ones that are coming out of left field from unheard of and unproven developers. I'm genuinely hoping it's one of them. Little did I know just how right I would be. Player Obscure Expedition 33 launched to 60,000 concurrent players on Steam, selling over 500,000 copies in its first 24 hours. It had then surpassed that days later, doubling that number to 121,000 concurrent players on Steam and reaching 1 million copies sold in just 3 days. Hell, the game sold out of physical copies on Amazon and in stores in Australia.
I didn't even know you can get a physical copy. I'm not even gonna lie.
Narrative-driven turn-based RPG that isn't named Persona, coming from a studio that's releasing its very first game. This is nigh unheard of, my friends. The game released to near universal praise among critics. It is simply too good for anybody to ignore, reaching...
I will say, I've played Persona 5, and this game's combat feels way better than Persona 5. I mean, like, it's a completely different ballgame.
91 on OpenCritic with a 100% player rating, and a 92 on Metacritic with a 9.7 player rating. The game is so popular among players that it now holds a world record. Paul Tossi of Forbes wrote an article titled, "Players Just Ensured Clair Obscur Expedition 33's Record Can't Be Touched."
Which record?
I wrote an article over the weekend that confirmed that Clair Obscur Expedition 33, the RPG from first-time developer Sandfall, was in fact the highest user-scored game in Metacritic history. Now, players have caught wind of that. Some pushed back on this, saying it was early, and this is just based on a few hundred reviews, playing it super early. Well, people have been playing it over the course of the weekend, and there are now 600% more reviews in, up to 3,300, and the score has actually increased to a 9.7 out of 10 from a 9.6 previously.
What the fuck?
I've said that it's possible that scores fall in time, but what has happened here cemented Expedition 33's title as one of the highest scored games on this platform. Nothing else is close or will get close anytime soon.
Oh my God.
Thousands of reviews
what
mean
the
that
fuck?
of the top 100 plus best scored games on Metacritic's list, it's already passed many of them in total scores. And again, it's not a close competition. I've only been able to find one 9.3 at all, The Witcher 3's Blood and Wine DLC. Every other historic game that you have heard of is somewhere between an 8.9 and 9.2.
Where? Where? Where is it? I don't see it. A 9.2. This is Metacritic, right? Where was it? You said 9.1? Ah! It is only 9.1. That's crazy. What do you mean? What happened when you got in the game that made you vote anything less than like 9? What? Did you stop playing it? Was it a bug? My head was covering it. Sorry. You saw bugs and you were like, ew, ew. I can't believe it.
Yes, that one. Yes, that one too. Check
No.
any one you like.
No! No. No, it's not possible. What other one? Oh my God. What other games do I really fucking love?
This, my friends, is a flawless victory. Plain and simple. It's the kind of game that should go on to sell tens of millions of copies. Honestly, it's the game that you hope does. When you play
Hollow
it,
Knight's
you
a
want
perfect
everybody
game.
else to play it. And if it doesn't become the most popular game ever, it feels like it's a slight against you. Because it is.
It is.
We deserve this game. We deserve more games like this. And Sandfall, with a team of a mere 30 ex-Ubisoft developers, deserves all of its recognition, success, and more. While playing Expedition 33, I had an epiphany of sorts. I came to the conclusion that the games industry is desperately clinging to a coloring book, tracing over the same tired outlines, filling in old shapes with new colors, terrified to stray beyond what has already been done. Almost nobody dares to treat games like a blank canvas, to make a mess, to break the frame, to let their imagination spill out and ruin the floor.
Dude, you are kidding me. Sorry, back to this.
But where the rest of the industry is coloring inside the lines, Expedition 33 tears the canvas off the wall, smears their hands in the paint, and throws themselves into their work. They let it bleed, they let it burn, they let it scream. They didn't just make a game, they made something alive. I
Very
don't
French
even know
of
where
them,
to
by
even
the way.
start describing this game or its genius. While Expedition 33
not all
definitely
30.
takes inspiration from a wide variety of games, that's as far as it goes. It's inspiration with iteration, never imitation. You catch flashes of the UI taking cues from Persona, the combat adapting ideas from Legend of Dragoon or Final Fantasy VIII, the mournful, hopeless world whispering shades of Final Fantasy X, and the monster design tipping its hat to Dark Souls. But everything here is unmistakably its own.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. If every individual tiny aspect you can gleam inspiration from like one specific series, then I'm like, you can't really prove it was even inspired by that thing. Like, you can't be like, oh, these monsters look like Dark Souls. Oh, these clothes look like Final Fantasy.
Right out of the gate, the game grips you with its music, its atmosphere, its art, and its writing. It's world wrapped in quiet desperation. Most of us come into Expedition 33 already knowing the premise: a world shattered by a calamity, a celestial paintress that is marking humanity's final days by painting a number, and a desperate expedition that is trying to break the cycle. But Sandfall didn't just build a premise, they made it a feeling, and they drive it into you. You walk the streets of Lumiere, you talk to its people, you are given control of somebody heading to their Gommage, a final...
Yeah, and you see the Gommage, like, has a culture around it. Like, they have the flowers, and they're red and white.
Farewell. You walk them down to the pier, watching as the paintress calls their number and paints their death into this world.
Spoiler!
You hear the voices of the townspeople, see the hollowness in their eyes, feel the ache in their words. And for the first time in a long time,
we've already watched this on screen,
the stakes, how important yet futile your journey feels, how small and desperate these lives are, how this world is quietly fading before your eyes. You can feel this beautiful, aching world. What impressed me most about Expedition 33 is its revival of subtlety and nuance in an industry that has been obsessed with appealing to the widest audience possible, executives chasing infinite growth. Games have been stripped of any ambiguity. Modern storytelling assumes that the player must be handheld through every story beat, every emotion, every idea in case they might get confused.
I know. This bothers me. When the writing is like, "Hello, Samantha, my childhood friend. I am Ryan, your friend who you do not like very much right now due to personal differences involving our past, which would be this." Like they basically, like, the exposition is so like understand the story, understand it right now, you will understand it,
and stop buying their games. But Sandfall respects its audience. They don't feel like they need to spell everything out. They don't insult you with constant on-the-nose exposition. They let you live in their world, absorb its meaning, piece together its mysteries. Characters reveal themselves through actions and subtext rather than bullet points, and nothing is predictable. I have been floored countless times by this game's narrative. Hands in the air yelling absolute
nuance
cinema.
is lost.
There is so little revealed, yet so much at the exact same time. You are given the space to truly know these characters, but not a single one of them really fits cleanly into an archetype. They are complex, contradictory, messy, human in a way that very few games ever achieve. Every member of your party carries the same trauma of the world that they're living in, but they wear it differently. And the moment that you think you have somebody figured out, the page turns and you see a side of them that you hadn't before. And it's all delivered by an all-star voice cast. You wander a world littered with...
I've never really cared about voice cast in a game. Like, if there's a voice actress or voice actor I know, I'm like, oh, points. But I'm not like... I don't play a game that doesn't have all-star voices, and I don't, like, notice. The voice acting, yeah. The voice acting matters.
With the remnants of the expeditions that came before you, thousands of bodies marking your path. For those who come after, we continue. It's not just a slogan of this world, it's a lived, brutal truth. You're constantly reminded
I haven't
seen
this.
Important your mission is.
This is a minor spoiler.
Hopeless it all feels.
I don't know how I got here, though.
Turns, cliffhangers. The game dares you to keep going, dares you to understand more. Even reality itself bends as black and white dream sequences cut through the world, boxed by vertical pillar box lines, stripping away any comfort, any warmth. These moments don't just feel different, they feel wrong, like they exist outside of time itself, and that deliberate discomfort sinks into you. The soundscape and the world design are utterly breathtaking. I cannot count how many times I have stopped dead in my tracks, panned the camera around slowly, and just stared. Because the scene before me looked like it was a painting that deserved to be hung in a gallery. Expedition 33 is built around music and art at every single level, from skill names to weapons to the names of...
Look how fucking French this guy is right now. Hold on. I'm so sorry. I have to... Look at this bread baguette wearing little fucking mime looking ass boy. This is hilarious.
Towns themselves, it's a world that doesn't push you forward. It begs you to stop, to look, to feel, to listen. It's visibly distinct. It's audibly distinct, yet eerily familiar at the exact same time. And that mixture of mystery and recognition is exactly what keeps you rooted in place. Well, at least until the gameplay rips you off your feet. As a fan of turn-based games, 3 of my favorite games of all time are Grandia 2, Final Fantasy 8, and Legend of Dragoon. I have never seen a game revolutionize turn-based combat like this before. I'll be honest, I was afraid. When I had heard about the dodge, parry, and quick time event mechanics, I thought it was just going to be gimmicks. But they're not gimmicks. They're the solution.
They're really hard. What makes the parrying and the dodge so hard is that the enemies have, like, Dark Souls timed attacks. it's really hard to actually guess how the enemies are going to attack.
Struggle to stay relevant in the modern age. Part of that is due to executives not wanting to fund these type of games, but the other part of it is that players today, including myself, just don't really have different types of attacks like we once did. And while some games have been successful and people obviously still want it, there needs to be an evolution. That's why we've seen auto battle systems dominate the genre, reducing what used to be thoughtful, tactical gameplay into passive, gotcha-like gameplay loops. Expedition 33 refuses to let that happen. Instead, it rewards players for staying engaged. Dodging at the right time will grant you action points or other buffs depending on the pictos that you have. Parrying will boost your damage. Hitting time prompts will amplify your attacks. These mechanics don't feel bolted on. They feel natural, inevitable, earned. It's the evolution of turn-based combat that I've been waiting for since Final Fantasy VIII, a true, seamless fusion of action and strategy that keeps you locked in every second without betraying the roots of this genre.
You know, it's funny that he should say that because, like, yeah, I feel like with turn-based combat games, the things that you look forward to are not the combat. Like, I play Persona, and I'm more interested in the story and all the other parts of the game than I am fighting any enemy.
Expedition 33 isn't just a great game. I think it's a quiet rebellion, a reminder of everything that this industry could be and everything it has chosen not to be. It's proof that we just need someone, somewhere to care enough to create something real, something beautiful, something that dares to reach beyond the safe, dead outlines of what's already been done before. One of the things that really stood out to me and the game isn't getting enough appreciation for is its return to unique characters. It's something that we used to have in a lot of JRPGs, but a lot of these games have kind of gotten away from it. Made it where all these characters can kind of just, you know, they're just Lego sets essentially. You can build them however you want and they all can have the exact same skills.
I get it. I do get that.
Character in Expedition 30.
You would. You're telling me you would? Guys. Everything slimy can't be a wood.
3 is remarkably unique from the next one. Luna has her elemental stains. Mael has her stances. CL has a mix of both of them. And then all of these characters can work dynamically with one another to set up one another for different attacks and combos and things like that. There's a lot of genius in that. But we've been deprived of that over the last few years because, well, a lot of these companies just don't trust the player. I've been talking about it recently because I saw somebody post, they made a comparison between Skyrim and Oblivion. And they showed about how much content had been removed from Oblivion to Skyrim.
I am going to be honest. I think it's a valid concern to be like, they won't. Because I won't. Like, in order for me to go through hoops for your game has to be good. If your game isn't good enough, I'm not going to put in any extra effort. Like, I am going to, if your game can't hook me, I'm not going to be trying to learn things about it. I'm going to need to be spoon-fed because I'm not inherently interested. But if your game's interesting, then you don't have to go through these hoops and you can kind of trust me.
A lot of customization, a lot of depth. And the reason why is because it's all about accessibility. These studios, these publishers, they see that as a way for them to be able to reach wider audiences. Instead of wanting to add value or do anything unique, they instead want to treat their audience like they drank half a can of paint thinner when they were a kid.
I did that.
So we see that in the writing, in the world design, and it's all watered down.
I've done
towards
worse,
that goal.
actually.
Expedition 33 subverts that, along with a lot of other developers I've seen recently as well. But, you know, while playing this game, I get this overwhelming feeling of respect. Respect for the players, respect for themselves as developers, for the medium, for the game. And much of that respect has been lost within this industry. And
yeah, so often I open a game that's like, it's literally the Backrooms meme. Like, jingle, jingle, jingle. The Backrooms. I said your favorite word. It's like, go here, jingle, jingle, jingle. And I'm like, if this doesn't happen for me, sometimes I'm not able to follow. This game just doesn't need to do that. And I don't know why it doesn't need to. But it just doesn't follow. I just don't need it. Like, some games really feel like they need it, and this game doesn't feel like it, and I don't know why this game doesn't need it.
That's why players are upset. That's why these games feel hollow in the end, because you have to respect all of it. Otherwise,
what's going on in movies? I know. You know what? A movie that really felt like it was explaining itself too much was the second Avatar movie. Like, James Cameron's second Avatar movie felt like it was, like, so over-explaining, and I was like, what the fuck's happening here? Is this the 10-year follow-up to the great 2009 Avatar movie, right? Yeah, that movie sucked. Not sucked, but it was like, such a downgrade.
Expedition 33 feels like a miracle at this point in this industry, not a product. And
a miracle,
it's
damn.
It's a bleeding, breathing
shit is
work
dire
of art,
right
a
now.
testament
My
to
guy
what
is
games
becoming
can
religious.
Actually be, and at the same time, like I had said before,
I'm praying.
It's exposing just how little we're given from the rest of the industry. You know, I noticed that a lot of game developers and a lot of studios reached out to Sandfall to congratulate them on the success of Expedition 33.
Oh.
I did not see Ubisoft though. Maybe that's because they're under new management. When I sit back and think about it, I just genuinely don't think this is the kind of game that we would see the industry even
Ubisoft.
dare to try to
I'm
make
kidding.
anymore. You
Sponsor
have a
me
dark,
anytime.
emotionally charged story that doesn't lean
joke.
into forced humor to be able to soften its blows. It's not like Dragon Age the Veilguard where you're going to fight a dragon, one of the characters starts talking about a book they like, and Tosh intervenes to tell them that the book is probably about sex, doubling down again to say, I bet it's about sex. Wow, so funny. Genius writing, really. Or maybe how about that one time where you go to the infested docks and all the people are dead and one of the characters chimes in like it's a Scooby-Doo investigation saying, it's quiet. Too quiet. Mature rated game, by the way.
It's quiet. Too quiet. He's right behind me, isn't he?
Expedition 33 uses humor. It's well delivered and with nuance. I remember there was a scene where I was reuniting with CL. Gustav prepares to trauma dump over what happened at the beach. They zoom in on his face. The tone shifts. Dramatic music starts playing, and one of the other characters turns and essentially says, not now, Gustav, and the music cuts out. It's unexpected but well-delivered comedy that makes sense for the characters, the world, and the situation. I mean,
that's actually fucking hilarious.
Conventionally attractive
Gustav, no.
characters in 2025 without a hint of irony, cynicism, or commentary around it. I mean, I think that Luna's proof that they have a feet guy on their team, but outside of that, it feels so vindicating to have exactly what players have been asking for.
Oh my god, I didn't even think about
characters that are tastefully presented.
Oh my
this
god.
Is all people have been asking for, yet game developers and the media have taken it out of context,
all feet
saying
all
that
the
we
time.
are asking for strippers.
She's barefoot.
No. Well, I mean, sometimes, but not all of the time.
Not all the time.
Without forced real-world allegories stapled onto it, without painful exposition, dumping the entire plot and every character's feelings, trauma, and identity into your lap because they think that you're too stupid to figure it out.
I also really quickly want to mention, all of the characters in this game are extremely, extremely sexy. And it does not matter because they're all extremely sexy. That guy is his middle name is Sex. Luna is her middle name is Feet. I don't care about a game where every fucking character is sexy. It is a little shitty to play a game where every man is a hideous abomination of humankind's brain goop that could not be designed in a worse way, and every woman is a 30 triple E big booby mommy dummy. Like, this is what I mean. We can have games where everyone's sexy and it doesn't bother me. I do get a little bothered when women are so sexy in games and men aren't, because at that point, we know why the women are in the game. We made the women ugly too. I'm okay. Like, make everyone sexy is all I'm saying. This is probably like a shit take, but I don't know. If your women are sexy, then your women exist probably only to be sexy.
We have stakes, mystery, gravity, and tragedy all left for players to sort out on their own as the story unfolds.
It's a popular take.
Shit.
Okay.
You know, let's go ahead and make it a turn-based, Japanese-inspired RPG. The remnants of the genre that have been lost to the passage of time and the vision of C-suite executives that don't believe that it can make money anymore and that players don't even want it. A genre that has essentially been on life support outside of the Atlas games, Octopath Traveler, Atelier series, and a couple of others. Finally, let's tie a bow on the entire thing. Make the game with just over 30 developers in under 5 years and sell it for $50. No, wait, scratch that. Let's put it on sale for 10% off before the game is even released and during its launch week to make sure that it's a fair price point for players, a low barrier to entry, and give those players the opportunity to take a chance instead of feeling like they need to make an investment to play their game.
I got it for 50. Fuck. And it was also on Game Pass.
By every modern AAA standard, this game should not exist. And yet here it is, standing taller, reaching farther, hitting harder than almost anything that these AAA studios and publishers have produced. It's refreshing, but more than that, it's enraging because it shows just how low the bar has been set by the people that are supposed to be leading this industry. They keep telling themselves the same lie, not only to themselves, but to us as well, that the only way for them to succeed is to play it safe. That bold ideas are too dangerous, that nuance is confusing, that the audience needs to be handheld, babied, spoon-fed every emotion, every plot point, every mechanic, because they are too stupid to figure it out on their own.
I want to see a big game company figure some shit out and be like, you know what? What if I took this game that has a team of 200 supporting microtransactions and I split my microtransactions team up into groups of 40 and I told them to just go fuck off and make a game. I want to see something like that.
But this is never about protecting the players. This is about protecting their profits. It's about control. It's about squeezing margins, about turning games into lifeless, frictionless products that can be stamped out, sold, patched, updated, and forgotten. And in doing so, they have crippled themselves. That's what makes what Sandfall has done that much more satisfying. A studio of 33 developers, mostly Ubisoft refugees, who built Expedition 33 on a budget of likely under $50 million.
Like they survived a fucking battle.
Have absolutely smoked Assassin's Creed Shadows on Steam, while being a game that was given away for free on Game Pass, the biggest subscription service in this industry, and they still outperformed it. It's beautiful. It's justice. Broche, Sandfall CEO and creative director, didn't leave Ubisoft because he couldn't cut it. He left because anyone with any real ambition, anyone who gives a damn, eventually realizes that you cannot create anything real inside of a machine that only knows how to recycle itself. What would he have done if he stayed? Slapped on another Assassin's Creed DLC, sell some gun skins for Rainbow Six Siege? Maybe, if he was really lucky, he could have gotten assigned to Ubisoft's NFT strategy game.
A machine that can only recycle itself. Oh my gosh. How many new IPs total Ubisoft destruction? When was the last time you saw Ubisoft make something new? Like, what's their newest IP? Obviously we see Assassin's Creed games, but like, what's new?
Game. Wouldn't that have been exciting? Expedition 33 would have been strangled the second it was pitched. Too risky, too slow, too difficult to monetize. Ubisoft would have never made a game like this.
No microtransactions.
I already know what's coming next. History is going to repeat itself like it always does. A small studio does something extraordinary. Players fall in love with it. In response to that, these publishers start staring at spreadsheets, baffled by the game's success, try to imitate it. They copy the aesthetics. They miss the soul. They throw $300 million at a knockoff and then cry on their earnings call about how players, their expectations have changed. Did you guys know that they only started out with 8 developers back in 2021? In an old interview that I had found, Broche was talking about how they only had 8 people and they were hoping to reach 15. That was the dream. You can still find their early art from back then. Rough, imperfect, they had nothing. And in under 4 years, that scrappy team that then grew up to over 30 developers delivered Expedition 33, a game that looks and feels like it belongs with the biggest and most expensive productions in the world.
It actually looks so good. That's the thing that confuses me. I'm like wondering how they did this because it looks so fucking good.
How does that make any sense? Meanwhile, we have the entire industry that has been lighting billions of dollars on fire and is still somehow making worse games. Sandfall did what the AAA industry insists is impossible. They built a masterpiece. They didn't spend $400 million to make it. They didn't need some bloated marketing campaign. They didn't need 500 people. They didn't even need to sell it for $70. And it worked. Because when you build something with love, with focus, with intent, players notice. We can feel it. Meanwhile, the AAA industry is still crying about ballooning development costs, pretending that they don't know why they're drowning, creating a constant state of entropy.
Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War had a development budget of over $700 million. Can I have one of those? Like, would you even notice? Can I have one of those? Can you do it on a budget of $699 million and $1 million to me? Thank you.
In which they are the ones that are increasing costs while players are being demanded to follow their poor business decisions. Nobody told you to staff 800 people to make the next Fortnite. Nobody told you to waste $400 million on another cinematic action RPG. Nobody said that you couldn't try making something new or something fresh. Nobody said you have to keep chasing somebody else's success rather than their ambition. Nobody forced you to bolt on battle passes, shop tabs, microtransactions, and deluxe editions onto every single thing that you release. You did that. You chose that. When I see studios...
I'm dying. I'm dying for the big game studios right now. I can't imagine. My sympathies
like
on.
Sandfall, small, lean, and relentless, deliver something as bold and as unforgettable as Expedition 33, it makes one thing painfully clear. The titans of this industry aren't untouchable anymore. They're bloated, slow, and creatively paralyzed. They have built these massive infrastructures filled with redundant management layers, bloated headcounts, and endless committees, and the end result is a process that is so convoluted that making anything truly original or valuable becomes almost impossible.
Guys, that's it. That's it. I'm making a game right now. It's going to be called Clear Expedition 69. And it's gonna... I am a Ubisoft executive.
The games take too long to make, cost too much, and play it far too safe. At this scale, they can't afford to take risks. They can't afford failure.
I'll take 2 copies.
When you can't afford failure, you're not experimenting anymore. You stop pushing boundaries. You stop creating. You start chasing, copying, playing defense, and eventually you build a studio that has all the money in the world but doesn't have any soul left to build anything.
Damn.
I genuinely think that this industry has just grown past the need for these monolithic publishers and developers. What used to be an advantage, size, stability, brand power, is now the very thing that's holding these guys back. The future isn't being shaped by these corporate giants anymore with these 1,000-person development teams and millions, hundreds of millions of dollar marketing campaigns. It's being built by studios that can still move quickly. They can take creative risks that don't need to pass every idea through 6 layers of executive sign-off just to be able to get a change to a character's dialogue. And I think that's the shift that we're starting to see with a lot of these closures and a lot of these layoffs. It's not just a collapse, but a reformation of sorts.
How do you even maintain like motivation when like you want to like update something and you have to run it by like 10 people? Like, how do you maintain like your sanity in this kind of situation? We were like, this looks like so bad. And like, in order to get a change, the number one thing is like, is this change going to impact our shareholders? You don't? Oh my God, that sounds lovely.
Mass layoffs,
That's
as
so
awful
cool.
as they are for the people that are involved, it's also a turning point because when those studios implode, they don't just disappear, they scatter, they break apart, and what's left behind is raw talent. Developers that still want to make something meaningful, who still have ideas that they want to bring to life. Expedition 33 is what happens when those people finally get a chance. We are entering into a new phase for this industry, not because the major players planned for it, but because they couldn't stop it from happening. They failed to value their own developers. They failed to respect their audiences. They failed to protect the creative spark that built the industry.
I'm not going to lie, this video is most certainly going away from Expedition 33 and more into the, like, fuck Ubisoft, fuck big company.
And now, one way or another, they're the ones that are getting left behind. And frankly, it couldn't happen to a better person. I found a couple of interviews from the CEO where he was talking about how essentially the AAA structure is so convoluted and creatively suffocating that it's really difficult to be able to get anything done. But in one of his interviews, he was talking about how much of a challenge it is to be able to go indie in the first place, because a lot of people have to take on a lot of different roles when you're as small as they are. You have a lot of people that become generalists rather than specialists because you just don't have access to that kind of talent, or at least that much talent.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, if you can only have so many artists, and you need somebody who can just fucking texture a rock, and your dev team is done on this thing. Your dev team is going to become your rock texturers, I guess. Like, you just have, everyone's got to like play a card when one team needs help.
In that, you become creatively focused. The vision stays intact. It's very clear because it's only being handled by just a handful of people. And in that, creativity can thrive, and the budget stays low. Those things are really important. So
cool ideas can actually happen.
Whatever the game is supposed to be stays clear the entire time because you're not having to go through 500 people to be able to make something. It's really difficult when one person has an idea and has to communicate it to 500 people.
Bureaucracy!
8 or 30, right?
Right.
These AAA publishers have tied themselves to copy-paste IP, and they've continued to grow larger and larger in scale year over year, and it's all been for nothing.
Well, I also will say it's like when your team is that small, you probably don't even have to run every idea past everybody. You can kind of like once you understand kind of everyone's vision and what's you've already asked, hey, can I do this? Hey, can I do this? You start getting an idea of what you are allowed to do and can't do.
Because they keep raising the
floor you don't have to ask
without raising the ceiling, and eventually they're just going to get crushed. That's why we're seeing a lot of the issues that we see today. I can't imagine it feels great to worry about layoffs and studio closures and earnings calls while you're watching indie developers run circles around you, free of expectations, creatively free, being able to do whatever they want, free of any type of constraint, free of these insane budgets. Expedition 33 just got greenlit for its own movie, made by the same people that made the Sonic movie.
What? Paramount? No way! What? No, this can't be happening. How many times have I seen Sonic 3? How many times? Who knows the answer? 10. I fucking love Sonic! Oh my god! This is going to be good. That team has learned a very, very, very valuable lesson on what it means to respect the viewers. And because obviously the Sonic movies are like a tale in like redemption, because the original trailer was so bad. You hit Sonny's tism. You hit my tism button. But yeah, I fucking love Sonic. That team is so good. I knew they were making a movie, and you just made me so excited.
Meanwhile, EA just laid off 400 people. It's a lot of barbs.
What? Really?
Expedition 33 has so much heart. It really does. You can genuinely feel that these developers threw everything they had into this game. You're kind of
blowing it.
And seeing as this is their first game that they made, I cannot wait to see what these guys are going to do after. I haven't finished the game yet. I'm going to be getting to that after I finish this video. I think I need to take a break one of these weeks. Maybe not try to release 2 videos. Maybe just do 1 instead or something like that. But, you know.
Maybe I'll just do 1 video so I can binge my video games.
We get a lot of good games. We get some great ones. But every once in a while, we get one of those games that just knocks you off your seat. It just takes your breath away. And I've had a lot of breathless moments when I've been playing Expedition 33. And it's great to see these developers get the recognition that they deserve and also see their work rewarded. And I think they're going to continue to be rewarded, to be honest with you. We're going to be seeing them at the Game Awards. I'm going to tell you that right now. Probably even win Game of the Year.
Damn, this guy's selling me on it. This is a really good video. I will say that I do feel bad. I genuinely, by the end of this video, kind of felt bad for EA. Like, by the end of this video, I was like, oh, damn. Some of this video is, like, good on the new company. Expedition 33 did so good. And some of this video is like, fuck EA. EA dog. The main revenue is a sports game. Yeah, that's true. Guys, we need FIFA. We need sports. Feeling bad for EA. That's a good point. I should not feel bad. Not EA, Ubisoft. It's the same fucking like shitting on big companies. EA shot. I don't even know. EA buys studios and just closes them. Fuck Ubisoft. Fuck big company EA. Wait, who did he say just laid off 400 people? Okay, so EA just laid off 400 people. Damn. That's 400 less people who are going to be making sports games. This is... Oh no. What are we going to do? He has like 4 whole videos about Ubisoft. Oh no. This guy is not going to be getting sponsored by these companies. It's good though. You know, if a creator's making a video that's like genuinely shit talking a big game company, or a big developer or a big, like, it does hurt your chances of getting sponsored. So, or like Blizzard. So, you know, that means he's being a real one. Yeah, they have integrity. They're not willing to. Oh, and he does have a Patreon, I see. So that's something. If you want to support him. But have integrity, then be a shill. Yeah. Yeah, one week you're like, I fucking can't stand that Disney does this thing. The next week you're like, I am sponsored by Disney. I am purchasable. Buy me for X dollars. I will shit talk that breast milk stealing company any day of the week.